Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon. This is another day that the Lord, matter of fact, it's another hot day that the Lord has made, but we choose to rejoice and be glad in it. I am Portia Wheatley. I am the founder and the president of a nonprofit organization acknowledged as Trophy of Life Incorporated. And we have the wonderful privilege, the honor, the task, and the assignment to render hope, encouragement, and inspiration to you, our audience, for 365 consecutive days. And he's been faithful in allowing us to do it, so we're grateful about it. And I just want to take a moment to bring in my co-host.
Hello, everyone. I am Takara Swan, and I am so happy to be with you all today. We have an amazing guest, a return guest, and I know a lot of people are so excited to see what she has to share. Before we do that, I just want to remind you to go to our YouTube page, like, share, subscribe, because you help us bring hope, encouragement, and inspiration to the entire world when you do that. So together we can do this.
We sure can. I believe it. I have faith to believe that we can do it, and we're doing it by the grace of God. Well, before I even bring on our guest on today, this week, today is what, Wednesday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, I think even Sunday, I have been reading some of Dr. Vikki's writings from Gems for the Journey. And believe it or not, this was written back in 2005. 2005, and the Gems for the Journey is the name of the book, the booklet. And I tell you, 2005, 2021, they're just as powerful today. And today I am going to read this one. Listen to this. Now, this one is the book is directed to women, but of course, interchangeably, find yourself. To look at you is to see a woman who is independent enough to overcome any obstacles that stand between her and a goal, yet sensitive enough to be open-minded and caring. To look at you is to see a woman who knows when her help is needed and when it's better to let others figure things out for themselves. You have patience born of compassion. You have strength born of determination, and caring born of real love. To look at you is to see a woman who's faced challenges and always survived. You are a woman who is respected, admired, and a reflection of God's grace and glory in the earth. You are a woman who is loved. It just sounds so good. It sounds so good. I tell you what, we are in for even more. And I just want to, as Takira say, welcome back, Dr. Vikki Johnson. And she blessed us tremendously when she was here a few months ago. And we just want to welcome you back again. Thank you for taking time. Believe me, audience, listen, this woman is so busy, but I'm so grateful. I am so grateful that you accepted our invitation to come back again. And today she is going to share with us talking about getting our second win. And you know that we are at the half point of this year, 2020 already. It's already at the half point of the year. But some of us need a second win. And she's going to share with us however she brings it, because it's always thought-provoking the way she brings it. But we're going to sit back and listen attentively. And at this moment, Dr. Vikki Johnson, you have the platform. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you, Portia. Thank you, Takira. Always excited to be here on Project 365. And as Takira shared, go to YouTube. Please like, share, subscribe this platform, because it is so necessary, so needed, such a blessing, and has been an anchor for so many of us. As Portia shared, I have a very, very full life for which I am grateful. However, I always try to model what I share and what I teach. And that is, make sure you have enough room in your life for what and who matters. And this platform matters. Portia and Takira matter, you matter. And I'm sharing that to say that no matter how busy we get, we make time for what matters to us. And I want to encourage you today to make time for you. Put you on your list. I shared on my Facebook page, and if you're not following me, I invite you to follow me on all platforms at All Things Vikki, and that's Vikki. But on my personal profile, I shared this a few days ago, and it resonated with so many people. And it simply said, it's a thought by a sister that I follow. Her name is Aidil Ahmed. And she says, don't be overwhelmed by how much you think you have to do. You are already doing so much and have done many great things. You are resilient. The next line, breathe. Breathe for a moment and acknowledge yourself. Look at all that you have accomplished. Don't be overwhelmed by what you have to do. Sometimes when you have to reset, that's a moment to remember what you have already done. So breathe for a moment and acknowledge what you've already done. Look at all that you've accomplished and how far you have come. I love this line. She says, take it easy on yourself. And then today, because she's someone that I follow and who inspires me, what she shared today is give yourself time to come back stronger. Give yourself some time. Our spiritual father, Archbishop Ralph Dennis, hey dad, says God gives us grace for assignment. So give yourself some time to come back stronger. Why? Because you, I, we're being upgraded on so many levels. Over the last 16, 17 months, we've discovered so much about ourselves. We've discovered what matters, what doesn't matter anymore, what needs to matter, who matters, where we have gaps, where we need to be strengthened, where we can kind of back off a bit because it is manageable as is. And so she says, you're discovering so much about yourself. We all are. Integrate it and step into your greatness because we are all rising up. And that is absolutely in alignment with being at this midpoint in 2021. And I want to offer us just a word of loving caution that as the world continues to not just turn, yeah, that's my mom's one of her favorite soaps, as the world continues to turn, and as we are opening, be careful not to go back to how things were. I'm pausing so you can just kind of take that in. Don't run back to the rat race. God gave us a supernatural reset by design so that we could, watch this, surrender, relinquish those things, those relationships, those patterns, those habits that no longer serve us. He shut the entire world down and put us all on an even playing field so that we can reorder our lives. Even as I'm talking, there's some areas that we all can review, right? What do I need to do to strengthen this area? Do I need to release it? You know, do I need to reposition it in my life? And this theme of these R's is, I'm just really flowing. It's just coming up in that way. What do I need to remember at this midpoint? Because when we were in the midst of the beginning, I'll say, or earlier in the pandemic, it was a scary time, let's be honest. I don't care how much faith you have. It was scary to hear those numbers every day of new infections, of people dying, of funerals, and it was some trepidation in the earth. And even for those of us who know and trust God, it was scary. We just keep it simple. I ain't gonna over spiritualize it. It was a scary time. It was also an opportunity, again, for us to reflect on our lives. And I would even dare say some of us made some promises. Started bargaining with God. God, if you bring me through this, I will. I won't do this anymore. So at this mid-year review, at this mid-year evaluation of our lives, I just want to encourage you to be gentle with yourself. Don't do what everybody else is doing it because everybody is doing it. Check in with God. What is God saying to you? How are you to move through this year? What did you commit to? And so this is a time for us to really be pensive about that, thoughtful about that, reflective about that. And none of us should come through this or out of this pandemic because we're still in it. I know the government and the world is acting as if everything is okay. And it's not completely yet. We just don't hear the numbers anymore. But people are still being infected with new COVID infections, and people are still dying every day from COVID. And, I keep bringing that up, not to harp on it, but to tell you that we are still in a new reality. This is a new reality, and it's not going anywhere. So at this midpoint, at this time, I want you to remember, review, reflect, reset, reorder, and where necessary, redesign some things. And when you redesign those things, be vehemently protective of whatever that new routine is that you need to walk out consistently and with discipline and with commitment. So be gentle with yourself. God's grace continues to be sufficient. God gives us grace for assignment. And I just challenge you to move forward into your new reality, trusting that your steps are ordered, that all things continue to work together for your good because you're called according to the purpose of God, because you love God, because there's purpose on your life. And know that better is the end of a thing. I love that scripture in Ecclesiastes. Than its beginning. So we want to just keep moving toward better as we're at this midpoint. Again, don't just throw all caution to the wind. Don't panic. Don't go back to how things used to be. God gave us a divine reset, gave us all another chance to watch this, recreate, and in some places, create a reality that gives him glory and allows us to manifest purpose and destiny with passion, with power, and with a spirit of perseverance. So, in order to get a second wind, you got to breathe. You got to pause and take deep breaths during the day. Just stop, drop, and breathe so that God can give you a renewed sense of strength and energy to manage what has been entrusted into your hands. So that's really what I want to share today. I want to offer the suggestion that you give yourself permission to, as Ideal said, be gentle with yourself. Acknowledge what you have already come through, acknowledge where you are, and trust that where you're going, God has already perfected, not something, everything that concerns you and me. I wrote some time ago, it was just a thought that I shared. God knows where you are. Rest in that. Isn't that something? God knows. Rest in that. Rest so you can manifest. Thanks for that too, Dad. Archbishop Ralph Dennis. And I also want to acknowledge my pastors, Bishop Gregory and Pastor Tanya Dennis. Hey, y'all. But rest and manifest. How do you do that? Stay seated. Ephesians 1 says we are seated with him at the right hand, which is the hand of favor. We are seated with him in heavenly places, meaning we're above. We are above. We are above. We are far above any of the, I'm going to use this word, vicissitudes of life. Stay seated in heavenly places. Why? Because all things are under your feet. Now you can rest and manifest those assignments that are connected to you. So give yourself some grace. Be gentle with yourself and know that in all things, God gets the glory. Because regardless of what's happening, it's all going to work for our good. Because we are called according to his purpose. And it is the Father's good pleasure to give us what? The kingdom. You know what that means? It is the Father's good pleasure to give you you. Because the kingdom is in you.
It's in within.
It's not out there. It's in you. So it is the Father's good pleasure. That's so awesome to me. To give you you. That's why I'm going to go back to and end with where I started. Be gentle with yourself. Be good to you. Be anxious for nothing. And where there is overwhelm in your life, look at what you need to remove to create some breathing space so that God can supernaturally give me a second wind to get through the rest of this year. Now, to get through the rest of the year, don't look at how big or overwhelming that is. You know how we're going to get through the rest of the year? One moment at a time. One moment at a time. And then one moment becomes a day. And then a day becomes a week. A week becomes a month becomes a year. And then a year becomes a decade. God has given us a second wind. Make good use of that second wind. And remember to breathe. Okay, Project 365. Don't forget, go to YouTube, like, share, subscribe, share this and other days of hope and inspiration with someone who needs to hear it. Congratulations again, Portia and Takira, on day almost 200 in a row. This is powerful. And again, you are evidence that God gives grace for assignment, because if you didn't have grace to do this, you would not have the endurance or the capacity to do it so effectively. So thank you all for sharing. Thank you all for liking, sharing, and subscribing. And thank you, Portia and Takira, for the opportunity to just kind of push people a little further into purpose and destiny with some focus and with some stability and with some confidence. Being confident, Philippians 1:6, of this very thing. He that hath begun a good work in you will perform it until the day of Jesus Christ. Now unto him, I can't help it, who is able to keep us from falling and to present us faultless before the presence of his glory with exceeding joy. To the all-wise God be glory and majesty, dominion and power, henceforth, now, mid-year, and for the rest of your life, and forever. And my favorite scripture of all times, the Amplified Version, Job 22. Listen, you want to get through this mid-year point and beyond? Agree with God quickly so that you can have peace and good and abundance and overflow and relational equity and being made exceptions to the rule and favor will follow you. Agree with God quickly so you can have peace and good come to you. I'm done for real. Like, I'm not going to close 4 times. That's it. Thank you, Portia and Takira, for this wonderful opportunity to share.
This is no, so much. It feels like I've been to college just today. It feels like I've laid on your couch because of the wording and the not just the words that come out of your mouth, but the spirit in which they come as well. And it's so much to be said in that, but I'm not going to even touch it. I'm just going to go back and play it again and play it again and share it. Thank you so very much. Thank you. I really do appreciate it. I do. Kira?
Well, I always love when you come on here. I'm telling you, I take so many notes, and not notes to say again, but for my own self. So like she said, this is the perfect broadcast to play over and over. Like, if you have not rewatched any broadcast, this is a good one, okay? And a good one to share, because we are at that midpoint, and some of us are just like, okay, what now? What next? Well, she's laid it all out, and I got excited when she said those words, because this really is the season of re. Go back, look at those re's that she said, and just be who you're supposed to be in this time, and give yourself, just take it easy on yourself, like she has said. I just want to thank you so much for coming on our broadcast during your busy schedule and just dropping golden nuggets like you usually do. We all appreciate and love you so much. And yeah, I mean, there's no more to recap. Everything is so eloquently said. So just rewatch this broadcast, guys. I know I will. Take notes and just manifest and be who you're supposed to be at this time, and breathe.
Oh, breathe. That is so
breathe
important.
And be. Breathe.
Yes,
breathe and be. Right? Breathe and be. And as you're being, you will become. Right? So we're being and becoming at the same time. And in order to do that, you have to breathe. You have to breathe. Stop holding your breath. You have to breathe. And a lot of times we hold our breath because we're stressed, we're overwhelmed, we're anxious, we're sad, we're grieving. So it is the breath of God that gives us life. And it is the breath of God that renews our strength. And it is the breath of God that allows us to live in our joy, because the joy of the Lord is our strength. See how that works? So breathe, be, become. It's really simple. It's so simple that people make it hard. They make it difficult, because we don't believe the blessings of the Lord make us rich without sorrow unless we have to suffer for it. or unless we have to struggle for it. And there is a season of fire that we all go through, right? After we have suffered a while, then the God of all grace will strengthen us, settle us, perfect us, establish us. There is a season of purging and refining that we all go through. But then there is a season where we live in agreement with God quickly so that we have peace and good comes to us with ease, with ease, with ease. So breathe, become, and lay aside the stuff you no longer need. Lay aside the weight, the sin, the people, the relationships. Just be, and give yourself some breathing room, some margins, as a friend of mine calls it. You know, margins on a piece of paper, the white space. The white space allows the words to breathe. That's why there are margins around pages of a book, so that the words can breathe. So speak life to yourself, give yourself some margins so that those words can become life, and then create this beautiful portrait of what God has promised you. What God has promised you. There's some promises attached to our lives that God wants to manifest, but we have to be in position, and we have to have capacity, and we have to have expectation so that God can do it. So this is simple. It is simple. Wash your hands, wear your mask, be socially distant, don't be reckless, stay focused on your purpose as we're in this midpoint. God has released a second wind. So open your hands, open your heart, open your head, so that that second wind can catapult you to what is already ready for you.
Unzip for a minute, unzip for a second. The at this midpoint, and you stated earlier, talking about creating and recreating, I want you to speak to that. It's something that you say, you have a saying, never again and never before. Speak to a couple of, give us a couple of sentences or paragraph on just that.
Well, you have to breathe so you can be and become, right? That comes with instructions. Those instructions require us to really be aware and to acknowledge what's no longer working. That's the never again. So that you make room for the never before. So that means you have to be willing to surrender some things. Not hold on, not be attached is the word. Release your attachments to what's familiar and get comfortable being uncomfortable. Whoop, there it is. Get comfortable being uncomfortable in this new reality. Because the moments of God are so serendipitous, they're not predictable. You don't know where your next miracle is coming from. You just know it's coming. So you want to be in alignment spiritually, mentally, emotionally, financially, relationally. So when that unexpected moment happens, you have the capacity and the aptitude to receive it and be a good steward of the blessings. So God can trust you to be a conduit of the blessings. And it just never stops. That's the eyes haven't seen, ears haven't heard. It has not even entered into our hearts, the great things that God has in store for us. Because if you can see it, that's not it. We move from faith to faith, from glory to glory. There's always more in God. That's that overflow. That's that exceeding abundantly above all that we can ask or think, according to the power that is working in us. Get yourself together. Stop with the excuses. I just came back from my high school coach's homegoing celebration, and she coached basketball at my high school for 44 years. 44 years. That's over 500 girls that she coached. I am who I am today. Yes, because of God. Yes, because of my parents. But she planted those original seeds in my life. I never would have come to Washington, D.C. to attend Howard University on a full basketball scholarship if it was not for Marcia S. Pender. And you know, so I'm just coming back from Florida. I'm still processing her transition, but she left me the best parts of her. And so I have a responsibility to now deposit those seeds that are growing in the garden she cultivated into the women who I'm connected to. That's the Soul Wealth tribe. Hey, ladies, shout out to the tribe. But the point I want to make is one of her favorite sayings. Don't count your time. Make your time count. And for real, I'm ending with that. Don't count your time. But the time that you have on the court,
Make it count.
make it count.
Oh, that is good. That is good. That's a good place to end on.
Yeah.
Whew. Wait a minute. I can't end on it. Wait a minute. There's one more thing. No, not for you to. I'm thinking about what you said. Step into your greatness. Now that was good, because I think many people are waiting for someone to validate them, to say, did I do well? Did I do good? Can I, should I? But you said, seek God. And that greatness is there in you. Audience, that greatness is in you. Seek God and let him tell you where, what particular area in your life that greatness lies. Is there.
In your mouth, in your mouth, in your mouth, in your mouth. Write that book, start that business, go back to school, launch that nonprofit, get a new job, apply for a new job.
Yeah.
Go buy the home, get your credit together. Like, we are so without excuse. We are so without excuse. We are so without excuse. The girl, the woman, the sister, the Soul Wealth sister, shout out to you, Katrina, who braided my hair. And it's pretty, ain't it? Ain't it, right? Isn't it? Ain't it?
Oh,
Ain't it pretty? It's pretty. She did an amazing job. She learned how to do that on YouTube during the pandemic. I said, Vikki, let me do your hair. I learned how to do it watching YouTube videos. We are without excuse. What do you want? And I dare say many of us don't know what we want because we have been living out other people's expectations and dreams for our lives. God shut the world down for you to get in touch with what's in your heart, what is in your mind. Do that. Don't live at the mercy of what other people think you should be doing. Do what God told you to do. And I said earlier, that requires us to be comfortable being uncomfortable, because I heard Stedman Graham say at a conference by my sister, Ari Squires, that there is no growth in the comfort zone and there is no comfort in the growth zone. I'll never forget that. So you can grow or you can be comfortable. You choose, no judgment. You can grow or you can be comfortable. This is the midpoint. This is the opportunity. This is for you to make a choice today and decide. Because God comes into agreement with what we decree and declare out of our mouths. God said it would be established by the words that we speak. Because that's how God did it. God spoke and there was, he blessed it, called it good. And then he just went on creating.
Sure.
And we have the same opportunity at this mid-year point. God has given us a second wind. Use it well, use it wisely, and create some wonder, hey, Veronica Very, in your life.
All of our Soul Wealth sisters. And everyone else, of course, and everyone else. Yeah. Oh my God, Vikki, this has been wonderful. This has been really wonderful.
You're welcome.
Definitely a message of hope, encouragement, and inspiration, and a whole lot more. And we are grateful. We're grateful for what God has deposited in you and that you're sharing with the world. We
Thank you.
Love you. Takira, thanks again. And we shall see everyone tomorrow at 1 p.m. Bye-bye.